26 years old, and I had a dream and a vision, I guess, of wanting to live tiny. And at the time, I didn't know I wanted to start a homestead, but now, not only living tiny, but also starting a homestead. I've been inspired by tiny living, tiny homes since 2012, I want to say 2012, 2013. I've always been kind of intrigued by it around that time. When it came to me in my early 20s, it was around 2012, 2013 when I first was really intrigued with the lifestyle, the building of a tiny home. It was just a different way of living, and it wasn't your normal house, it wasn't your normal home. And I'm always intrigued by things that are different. I love things that are different, things that are not the norm, things are not, keeping up with the Joneses or whoever, of trying to fit into things that's not meant for you. I love when people do different things. It's always been intriguing to me, and I love when I meet people or see things that are just totally out the norm, and it just inspires me. I'm a creative person. I started looking on YouTube and just scrolling, and that's when homesteading became a thing. I started being interested in homesteading. I was seeing very few TikToks at the time of homesteading, and then I was looking it up on YouTube, and I saw, not trying to say anything negative, but I saw a whole bunch of white people that were homesteading and doing the tiny living, doing the tiny builds, doing things from scratch. But I didn't see any black families or just black individuals. And I was like, I would love to see, people that look like me doing something different, doing something against the norm of what society wants you or thinks that you have to do. So I started really just typing in the search bar on YouTube, and I found one family, IAG Farms. It's all about God, and I was watching them all the time. I guess with me following IAG Farms, I started getting other black couples, black families, black individuals popping up on my timeline of homesteading and farming and growing. Myself are more interested in planting and growing holistic herbs for healing, but then all of a sudden I had a want to and a need to learn about growing just fruits and vegetables. And so I'm like, okay, God, are you putting this on my heart? Because why do I have I just had a constant, a yearning almost to want to know about planting fruits and vegetables, not just herbs anymore. Still very, very passionate about that, which that is to come in the future. But I had a yearning just to now, growing my own fruits and vegetables, because as we see how the world is going, we don't know what's in our food. I think you can make fake cabbage now. There's so many things that are synthetic meat is coming out. It's a thing. It's probably been out. I wanted to know all these things. Again, it never came in my head that I could possibly do this, right? So flash forward to, I want to say 2024. Now, I never knew my dad, right? I never heard bad things about my dad, or I just didn't know my dad. And he's been trying to find me once I did connect with him. He's been trying to find me most of, we'll just say decades. He's been trying to find me, but I am a military brat. So of course he wouldn't find me because my mom married and changed my last name, and we were military. So I'm a military brat, so we were all over the world. I've been to different parts of the world and parts of the states. And so he couldn't find me. So let's flash back a little bit to 2019. My dad, he somehow remembered my grandmother's name. And from there, got the information from a private investigator, and boom, he found my email along with my mom's. My mom reached out and said, hey, your dad wants to meet you, wants to connect with you. And I said, you know what? Okay. I'm the type of person, I don't hold grudges. And plus there was no grudge or no hatred or anything there. I'm very in tune with every emotion and every feeling that I feel. And when I got that call, it was a little bit like, what? I don't want to. But then it was like, nope. And when I feel that, I make sure to be like, okay, why am I feeling like this? And if it's telling me no, it's like, okay, there's a reason. So I was very open to reconnecting with my dad. And it took us 5 years. A lot of family members think that we just reconnected like yesterday and we just had this great, no, it took us 5 years. And that was mainly my fault, not my fault, but my part, because I'm a person that treads very lightly with tearing down my walls for anybody. I don't care if you're family, definitely friends, people are trying to friend me. I just tread lightly because of what I've personally been through. So I'm a person that, takes my walls down very, very slowly, even when it comes to family, blood family. And I love my dad because he took that time with me. He was patient with me, and we have a beautiful relationship now, and it's just growing. So it took us 5 years. 5 years, like I said, 2019, and now to now it took us 5 years. It was a lot of healing. That's all I can say. And like I said, just reconnecting, building a relationship with my dad. And again, like I said, it took us 5 years to get here. And probably, I think the end of 2023, no, the beginning of 2024, I think it was. I may be wrong. I'm kind of foggy with my dates, but my dad offered, because I was telling him my dreams, because that's what it was. It was a dream of wanting to live tiny and to start and build a homestead. And he was like, okay, well, I have a whole 1.5 acres in the back. You just got to find what you want and you can live here. What? So I jumped on that immediately. It was perfect to reconnect with my dad, because I currently, at the time, the 5 years that we were building and having conversations, I lived in Philadelphia. I lived in Pennsylvania for damn near 12 years. So coming back to my roots, because I always claimed North Carolina. I was born in South Carolina, but I've always claimed North Carolina because that was where we were probably stationed at the most. So I always claimed North Carolina. So I have Southern roots, and I was a tomboy, I must say, while living in North Carolina as a kid, climbing trees, going through the woods, like doing all that. I love catching frogs to this day. As grown as I am, I still love catching frogs. So I have country Southern roots, and then to now be able to, live with my dad on the land, not only getting to know him more, but also learning my history and my roots, because my family land has been it's been my family's land for decades. I think my great-great-grandfather bought over 32 acres of land just where we are currently at. And of course, over time, certain family members, they sold their acres. It happens. It is what it is. So we are literally on family land that my ancestors were once slaves at. So it's just really just like why, when you learn, it's just like, wow, I have a sense of new identity, I guess you can say. I don't know, it's weird. I think it was the beginning of 2024, maybe 2023, my dad offered. It was like, yeah, you just got to figure out what you want to live in, but you can stay, it could be here on the land. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Because God's been putting this on my heart for a reason, right? So I started doing more research, because I was like, okay, I want to move out of Philly by at least the end of the year, right? It was the beginning of 2024. So I started doing more research, going back on YouTube, looking at tiny homes. Tiny homes are expensive, okay? Tiny homes are very expensive, and they weren't like that in the beginning, but they become so popular now, and I understand it. At one point, I even looked at van life. I saw a lot of people doing van life. I still follow some of them to this day. a lot of women, a lot of men, they just retired and they just said, hey, I want to travel, and they're traveling in their van. So that was also an option. But I was like, this is going to be stationary. I don't want to travel. So I just kept looking and looking and looking, because tiny homes, the ones that they're building, were a little bit too expensive. So then I got into I don't even know, how did I come across RVs? TikTok. I came across TikTok. It was a couple girls. I think it was two stay-at-home moms that I was following on TikTok, and their husbands were linemen. That's what it was. And they were like doing a day in the life of a stay-at-home mom living in an RV. And I was like, excuse me? And so I, watched the videos, and then I went to their pages and watched more. I'm like, they're living in an RV full time. Of course, they travel. If you guys know what a lineman is, they might have an assignment for a couple months or maybe a year. But they stay in an RV so that way their families could be together, because the lineman is going to be gone for almost a year, maybe longer. So to keep the family together, they bought a RV that they stay at an RV park, and were living in it full time while traveling with their loved one that's a lineman. And so I was like, wait a minute, an RV? I forgot about RVs. Okay, I never even experienced an RV in my entire life, right? In my entire life, I've never experienced an RV. Never had an RV, never stepped in an RV, never vacationed like we had an RV, never had knew nothing about RVs, right? So I said, let me just dig a little bit further. So not on TikTok, on YouTube, I found stationary RV living, and I was like, wait a minute. These people are stationary living full time in their RVs. And then from there, I found just more and more and more people with the shed conversions, container homes. I'm really still thinking about container homes. My ultimate dream, however, is a barn dominion, but that might change because the container homes and the barn dominions are kind of almost the same, and they just look beautiful. So once I saw the RV option was affordable, okay, because again, like I said, I was looking at tiny homes, but they weren't affordable. Not anymore. When I first started looking at it, they were. Now these tiny homes, you might as well just go ahead and get a 3-4 bedroom home in a neighborhood. And so RV living was definitely a thing, and it was affordable. So I started looking at RVs, and I did go to like an RV lot where they, you could just walk through, and I was like, okay, these are nice. And a lot of the new RVs that they have now, y'all, they are very nice. There's one that I absolutely love. It's like major open windows. It's immaculate. It has a kitchen island, nice residential size, refrigerator. So these things are nice, right? Again, because people are the era that we're living, because people are looking at different options of living, because the cost of everything is just so dang on high, they were also getting more and more expensive. So I'm like, okay, God, you put this on my mind and on my heart for a reason. Where do I need to look? So I started doing more research, and I found a couple girls on TikTok. They bought their bus, their van, or their RV on Facebook Marketplace, right? Never bought anything in my life, okay, on Facebook Marketplace. Never really talked or tried to negotiate. Never did any of that. Okay, Facebook is literally just something I just like get on, peek through, make sure my people's is good, and that's it. I don't comment, I don't like. I maybe post one thing every 6 months to a year. Facebook is not my platform, okay? I know my family and some friends still use Facebook, and I just go on there, hey, okay, they good, all right, and I'm out. I'm good, right? So I said, okay, Facebook Marketplace. So I had to be on Facebook. I think I had 4 options. We're just going to say I had 4 because I really don't remember. 3 of them contacted me back, were ready to go, okay? So I took some time off of work, flew, because I was still living in Philly, flew from Philly to South Carolina. And so I think I had like a weekend. I think it was a week or a weekend that I was down here, and they contacted me. They was like, yeah, okay, it's available. One of the girls that was selling the RV, the only thing that me and my dad were worried about was the fact that she had the RV, and it was a nice size RV. I think it was a 30 or 40 foot And she had pictures of the inside. They looked absolutely amazing. I think she was trying to sell this one. I forgot the price. Maybe I forgot the price. I might have inserts for you guys. I'm really not sure. But it was a nice size RV. The only problem that we were concerned about the RV was in North Carolina, okay? Wasn't far. We were okay with having to drive the distance. My dad was going to get his truck. My dad's a professional truck driver. So he was getting his big boy to haul this 30 or 40 foot, I forgot what size it was, RV. So we were okay with the traveling. That's not what was the deal breaker. It was in North Carolina, and it's been sitting in a lot for a while. So I think one of the tires was rotted because it's been sitting for I think it was a couple years, I think. So we were concerned with us going from North Carolina to South Carolina coming back that one of the tires might blow, because tires rot over time if they're just sitting and they're not being used. And so my dad was just like, yeah, I don't know, because then it was an option of, like, I think there was a place or something not around the corner we can get tires changed. It would have been more money putting out to get new tires and then bringing it here. No, so it just didn't make any sense for us. So that first one was not an option. The other two, they were way smaller trailers, way smaller, but they were nice sizes. I could have worked with it. The other two contacted me, but then when it was game time for me and my dad to leave, they never contacted me back. I'm like, okay, are you guys ready? Like, is it still available? I emailed them like 1-2 o'clock the night before. They never responded back. So I was like, okay. The last trailer, and I saved it. And I had passed by this RV, y'all, a couple times while I was in Philly. Actually, it's been listed. This RV has been listed for quite some time. It was originally priced, I think, at $5,000. And his caption was very, like, blunt. It is what it is. Y'all better figure it out. And that's what kind of made me be like, I don't know, because it was one of those sight unseen types of RVs. I think I can insert some type of pictures to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, but it just kind of made me nervous. So it was on Facebook Marketplace apparently for quite some time, I think almost 6 months to a year. And originally the price was at $5,000. And then they marked it down to $4,500, which is not a bad price. But it was just a little nerve-wracking because you had pictures of the outside. Okay, the outside looks cool. It's big. But he had no pictures of the inside. And his caption was like, you can't preview it. You can't come and visit. No, I'm not giving any codes or anything for y'all just to come out. I'm not sending any pictures. And I'm like, all this is in the description, right? And I'm just like, oh my God. But he was the only person to respond on the last day that I was in South Carolina before I had to hop on a plane in the morning to go back home, right? He responded. They were in South Carolina. I think it was a 2-hour trip because it was a little bit in the deep south parts of South Carolina. So they were about 2 hours away. We met up with them. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods at that. So it looked like the picture. The outside looked like the picture. And before I go further, I just want to say my mom, the morning of, I never forget, my mom came to me in the morning because she knew I was nervous. Because I'm like, okay, the other two people from the other two RV people, they haven't even contacted me back. This is like 9 o'clock in the morning. I emailed y'all like 1 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, and nobody's gotten back with me. We just were talking back to back, and nobody's gotten back with me. And then the other girl, that was just a no, because again, we were worried about the tires. So my mom knew I was nervous, so she came in, and she was just like, God said, don't worry about it. It's already done, and it's everything you want. And she just looked at me, and she just walked away. And I said, excuse me? So I just said, you know what? Okay. I was like, let me take a deep breath, right? So that was playing in my head when we got there, because I said, okay, well, it's not catfishing. The pictures do, the outside look like the pictures, right? So I'm like, okay, God, all right. Mom said it's done. It's exactly what I want. Y'all, I walked in, and not only is it huge, it is everything I need. The further that I was looking at it, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is more than I even needed or asked for. So we were able to talk him down from the price. So it was $4,500, and again, it was on the market even longer than that. Apparently negotiations happened, and we got it down to $3,500, and that was it. We gave them cash, and my dad hooked it up. We had to push in the slides because it's been sitting. I think it was a family member's old RV, and he was, I think you could tell he was trying to do some type of renovations and live in it, or he had some people like living in it, or they were camping in it. You could tell. So it was going to be a lot of work, a lot of gutting out. But one thing I knew, especially doing my research, because I've had this on my heart and my mind for years, buying older RVs, as much work that you're gonna have to put into it, they have good bones. And that's one thing I did realize with the newer RVs, as much money as expensive as they are getting, they're not good framework anymore. From the research I've done, it could be different now. Not trying to say anything, but from the research that I personally did, especially around COVID time, I know there were a lot of people on YouTube and other platforms saying, I guess the materials, they couldn't get certain materials that were the good sturdy materials. So they were using cheaper options, and the cheaper options were not sturdy. So a lot of people complained of their RV having issues, damage, quicker damage, mold, all that. So I wanted an RV that had good bones, and I got that and then some. This is a Tinton Homes luxury RV, y'all. And when my dad did further research on Tinton Homes, they don't make these types of RVs anymore, number one. And number two, my dad did further research. He found out that these were the RVs that they actually would put on construction sites, or I think he said oil digging sites. And these were meant for like the workers or a management's office or something, because they knew they were going to be out there for long periods of time. These RVs were built for that. And it makes a lot of sense. So this RV, looking at all the information, when they started building, it was in 1999, and I guess they finished building in 2000. So this is a 25-year-old RV, more than what I needed. It's enough space, and it's absolutely beautiful. Is it work? Yes. But like I said before, God wouldn't have gave me this vision or put this in my heart if I wasn't ready for the work. So that's just how I see it. And my family has just been so amazing with the whole process, because I literally told them everything, my vision, what I wanted last minute. Of course, I was talking to my dad about it, but my mom, like they are just kind of told everybody last minute, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And it's just like, wait, what? Because who really, and especially with some Black families, you're going back to the woods. Like, you want to live in the woods, you want to farm, like what? You want to be around bugs? I do. I really do. Like I said, I never thought that I would want to go live in the woods and have a little small tiny home cottage somewhere and just have like my herbs just growing, and just that. I never thought that I want that, but that's what I want, and it's happening. So it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of hard work, but God wouldn't have put anything hard on me that I couldn't bear. So that's just how I see it. And yeah, so that's just part one of the story. Just an FYI, while you guys are watching this video, we're gonna be far ahead in the build process, because my plan for my channel, of course with other lifestyle vlogs, wellness videos, but my plan as far as this, it's not just the RV tiny home build that you guys are going to see on this channel, but we are also going to be clearing land. So you guys are going to see the process of clearing land. I'm going to be doing breakdowns. You know, my dad is going to be involved, just giving you guys education and insight. So if anybody else is interested or just want to know like how to the process or everything, you guys will be able to see that. And also too, my dad will be trying to he's actually building himself a home as well. So I'll be a part of that process, and I'll be here to show you guys that process, because you may not want to live in a RV like I want to, or you may not be interested in tiny living, but to see someone else who is building a home on the land that they own is also something that might be of interest to somebody. So you guys will be able to kind of see that as well. So like I said, by the time you guys see this video, like I said, this is part one, and all I'm gonna say is right now we're like on part 16. So I'm just trying to catch up and just tell you guys step by step, because yes, this is kind of like a documentary. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. This is kind of like a video journal, not only to help inspire other people and give them insight, or you know, help them along the way, but this is also a video journal for me, because just to see how far I've come, how far my family's come, and to just show, you know, my family, any other family, or any individual, really, you can do it. You can have a vision, have a dream, and just trust God. That's it. So yeah. But if you guys like what you see, and you guys are rocking with me and want to see or hear the rest of my process, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.